Gospel of our Lord Jesus Christ according to Matthew, chapter 26, beginning at the 14th verse. One of the 12, the man called Judas Iscariot, went to the chief priests and said, "What are you prepared to give me if I hand him over to you?" They paid him 30 silver pieces, and from that moment he looked for an opportunity to betray him. Now on the first day of unleavened bread, the disciples came to Jesus to say, "Where do you want us to make the preparations for you to eat the Passover?" "Go to so-and-so in the city," he replied, "and say to him, 'The Master says, my time is near. It is at your house that I am keeping Passover with my disciples.'" The disciples did what Jesus told them and prepared the Passover. When evening came, he was at table with the 12 disciples. And while they were eating, he said, "I tell you solemnly, one of you is about to betray me." They were greatly distressed and started asking him in turn, "Not I, Lord, surely." He answered, "Someone who has dipped his hand into the dish with me will betray me. The Son of Man is going to his fate, as the Scriptures say he will. But alas, for that man by whom the Son of Man is betrayed. Better for that man if he had never been born." Judas, who was to betray him, asked in his turn, "Not I, Rabbi, surely." "They are your own words," answered Jesus. Today's gospel reading is a section of Matthew's account of the Last Supper Jesus had with his disciples on the night before his crucifixion. In the equivalent passage in Mark's gospel, after Jesus makes the dramatic announcement, "One of you is about to betray me," the disciples ask Jesus one by one, "Not I, surely." In Matthew's version, the question the disciples ask has a subtle difference. "Not I, Lord, surely." Lord is how the early church came to confess Jesus. By adding Lord to the question of the disciples, Matthew is encouraging the members of his own church to ask that question for themselves. Only in Matthew does Judas alone then ask the question, "Not I, Rabbi, surely." It is as if Matthew will not allow the title Lord to be spoken by Judas, the one who betrayed Jesus. We can all ask the question, "Not I, Lord, surely." Like the other 11 disciples, and unlike Judas, we have not taken steps to deliberately betray Jesus. Our presence at the Sunday Eucharist indicates that we have a desire to be his faithful disciples. We are people of faith, and yet we are aware that we are not always as faithful as we could be. We often show ourselves to be disciples of little faith. The question, "Not I, Lord, surely," expresses both our faith in Jesus as Lord and our awareness that we do not always live in ways that proclaims his lordship. Like Peter, we can sometimes deny the Lord by what we say and do. Yet the message of this Holy Week is that, in the words of St. Paul, if we are faithless, he remains faithful. The conviction of the Lord's faithful love encourages us to keep returning to him, knowing that in the words of today's responsorial psalm, the Lord listens to the needy.